What's going on, Browns fans? We are not even 24 hours removed from the Elijah Moore trade. And ladies and gentlemen, gather around. Come on in. Actually, take a step back. I want the whole world to hear this. The Browns checked every single box this offseason, and we aren't even close to the NFL draft. Let's give a round of applause right now to Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, everyone. I mean, I don't want to be a complete simp and just drink everything they're giving me, but there is something to what were the Browns' biggest needs this offseason? Run-stopping defensive linemen and wide receivers, and speed specifically. And what does Berry do? He gets one of the best run-stopping defensive tackles in Dalvin Tomlinson. We've got a Vikings guy here, and he'll chime in and give you his 2 cents. And then also a speedy wide receiver in Elijah Moore, who's 22 years old, on a rookie contract for 2 more seasons. This is the most talented Browns roster in the franchise's history. That's not even a big statement anymore. You've never had this good of a quarterback in Deshaun Watson, with that great of an edge rusher in Myles Garrett, and that dude named Nick Chubb in the backfield, and then these guys named Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, and then players who I don't even have fingers for, but are that big of an impact on this team. Let's get pumped up. Shout out your city. Let me know where you are watching from right now. Love to see how Browns backers and the Dog Pound go from ocean to ocean, pole to pole. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll give shout outs to everyone who chimes in and lets me know. I've got Pittsburgh coming in from Scarehouse Tim Zombie. Brooks is in Baltimore. Just like that. The first 2 words out of my mouth are 2nd and 3rd or 4th in the AFC North next year. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Jake's in Sacramento. We got Landon in Ohio. Got a whole bunch of OHIOs coming in. Browns fan is in Maryland. Josh is back home in Michigan. We got Fat Gaming in Cleveland. Dario's in Cleveland. DeBro's in Cleveland. Dave's in Rebecca, Georgia. Hawaii, South Carolina. Love to see it. Super chat coming in from Joshua Miller. PDAFX is having lady issues. Please help. We don't often become a daytime talk show here, I would say, right?
We talk ball, PD.
But we talk ball. I do think this is a important super chat because we are a family here at the Browns Report, a growing one. So if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to go ahead and do so. AFX, what I say to you is high school does not matter.
I couldn't agree more. High school means absolutely nothing on your life. I mean,
Seeps, he moved down here. Sorry to go into your skeletons.
No, that's fine. Air it out.
Air it out.
Air it out.
Seeps moved down here back last summer, and he was still dating his high school sweetheart, and it was long distance, and I was like, we'll see if it works out.
And it didn't.
It did not.
Shocker.
But you know what? He's got a big smile on his face.
I got a great smile. Life moves on. Life's good.
Time heals everything, AFX.
Exactly.
Time heals everything. That's our Phil Dawson, by the way, of the channel, Joshua Miller. We do Browns player comps for anyone who super chats more than $50. So if you would be interested in getting your own player comp, if you'd like to super chat, by all means, feel free to do so. Let's get some grades going, though.
Ooh.
I
Petey,
like
what was
it.
your grade?
So here was my grade. Ready? Initially,
Okay.
we're going to go from the moment I saw the trade to last night when I went to bed. When I first saw the trade, I thought it was the Browns got Elijah Moore and the Jets got the 2nd and 3rd round pick from the Browns. I misread the tweet from Ian Rappaport. And initially I was like, did we just get fleeced? Like a 2nd and a 3rd? I don't know, Jim. Then I saw the 3rd went back. So it went from F to B. And then during the cut yesterday, during the live show, I upgraded it to B+. I went to bed last night reading more tweets and getting other opinions on the trade. I'm up to an A-. The only thing that can't give it an A is we actually do have to see Elijah Moore be that guy. And that's fine. He's entering year 3 in the NFL and he's 22.
You're only moving down 32 picks
Exactly.
for a top-end speed type of receiver.
Right.
I don't know. I think the Jets got fleeced here.
I love this trade. I mean, I think both teams could win, right? Do the Jets need Elijah Moore after signing Mecole Hardman and Alan Lazard?
No.
Probably not. But they still get a pick. And the Browns, were they going to find anyone better than Elijah Moore at 42? Maybe, but maybe not, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know.
I can guarantee you this. Jordan Addison, in no particular order, Quentin Johnston, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Zay Flowers are all first-round receivers.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt and Josh Downs are late first, early second. if both of those players went before 42, you're not finding anyone better than Elijah Moore, I think.
I mean, you're talking Rashee Rice, maybe.
And
That's it.
Those are fine players, maybe. But the draft is a crapshoot, as I like to say. I know what Elijah Moore is. And I know he has 538 yards and 5 touchdowns in 11 games his rookie season with garbage quarterback play.
Yep.
With Deshaun Watson, I'll take it, baby. Let's go.
DPJ and Elijah Moore, the speed with the route runner that Amari Cooper is, it's just got to fire you up, man.
Like I'll go back to the well, but this roster is a top 10 roster, top 5. It's a very Like you have
3 All-Pros. People forget last year.
3 All-Pros. One of the better offensive lines in football, and that's putting it even lightly, I think. With
now one of the better
Batonio,
defensive
Teller,
lines.
Jed Wills. Like if Jedrick Wills is your biggest headache on the offensive line, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
I think we take that for granted. If Jedrick Wills is the slow guy on your 4x4 rally, like you're doing it well.
100%.
So defensively, it was an issue last year, and it has been addressed. It would be one thing if the Browns stood on the sidelines and sat on their hands and were like, no, we believe that Elliott and Togi are going to take a step forward next year. No, Andrew Berry said, Jimmy and D. Haslam, I need more checks. I got to go get guys like Dalvin Tomlinson, Obo from the Texans. I also want a new safety in Juan Thornhill. Done, and done.
Yep.
Oh, you want your 2 linebackers from last year who were great until they got hurt? Bring him back too. And let's get Elijah Moore. I mean, the Browns draft so far has gone like this. Pick number 12, Deshaun Watson. Pick 42, Elijah Moore. And they still have 8 more picks in the draft. Not too shabby.
And 2 top 100 picks.
2 top 100, which after saying all that, I do expect the Browns to trade back.
Okay.
I think, one, they don't have roster spots for 8 players right now, I don't think. Right? I don't think they have room for 8 on their 53. With how
filled. They have like 40, would it be 45 already locked up?
Yeah, close to it. You know what I mean? For example, like, can we throw the wide receiver depth chart here?
Yeah,
just use this as an example for the rest of the room too, the rest of the roster, okay? The Browns wide receiver room. It's got 4 absolute locks. All 4 faces.
Yeah.
Team carries 5.
You don't think Schwartz is a lock too?
No, Schwartz is not a lock. Absolutely not.
Really?
So if you're taking 5 receivers and you already have 4 cemented, and you have Schwartz, Woods, and Grant, like you might not have a room for another rookie wide receiver.
Yeah.
So having said all that, I think they're going to turn those 8 picks into like 6 and pick up an additional 3rd or 4th or 5th for next year because they don't have a first next year still. So they want to get some more day 2 picks and early day 3 picks for next year because they're kind of running out of roster spots for this year. Joshua Miller, what's going on? Donde está Estela? I took French in high school.
Donde está la biblioteca, por favor?
Where's the library, right?
Yes.
Yeah, So, biblioteca is
this
basically the same
referring
thing
to?
in French. Bonjour, comment ça va aujourd'hui? So, that is my foreign language for the day.
Eat.
Josh, appreciate the super chat. Phil Dawson, like we said. All right, let's get the chat rolling a little bit here. We got 176 people tuning in. If you haven't liked the video, go ahead and do so because it helps boost the signal for the stream. And then more Browns fans get to hop on in. And then the channel grows. It's a beautiful YouTube circle of life right there, right? You go to the land in Disneyland, Disney World, you know what I'm talking about. So give me your favorite draft target because we are, you ready for this? The official CEO, Prime Minister, and czar of draft sleepers. That's what happens when you don't pick till pick 74. And that's okay. That's okay. We don't have to panic over that. But we are out of the business of first and second round draft targets now. We are fully sinking our teeth into sleepers for day 3 early on and late 3rd round. That is our bread and butter moving forward. So embrace it. Ride with me. Give me your favorite draft target. And let's start talking sleepers, baby. Because those sleepers are like people awake. I don't know what the translation would be, but non-sleepers, right?
Yeah, this one you just have to get nerdy with the
we
draft.
Just gotta get, shoulders deep into draft nerd stuff here and find round 3 players because Martin Emerson last year was a 3rd round pick. And he was a very, very big contributor. So it can be done. It can be done. No, we will not be getting Stetson Bennett. My favorite player, it's kind of a weird name. He's got like an apostrophe. It's
Henry
the
Tutu?
bestest player available. That's my favorite player. The bestest player available. That's my favorite player in this
Big
draft.
BPA guy.
Yeah, Levi Mayfield with a $5 super. What's going on, Levi? Dog Bowl, let's go. You know, I'm a good Boy Scout. Always prepared, always on hand. I saw Shaylin in the chat. Shaylin, thank you for tuning in. Love you. Appreciate that.
Shout out to Shay.
Shout out to Shay. She's a sweetheart of the dog pound. Tex, I'm sorry. I spilled a little bit. Thank you. My bad. Cannonball time for Levi.
Hope you had fun at the Taylor Swift concert, Shay. It looked like a hoot. Jealous. That would have been fun to go to.
Grade it, please.
Grade it?
Grade the Taylor Swift concert, Shay. A,
Shay,
B, C,
in the
D, or
chat
F.
right now.
Now, while she gives us her grade, should the Browns sign Frank Clark? This has been a name that's starting to get linked to Cleveland a little bit. Sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. And it could be a fun, why not signing? I think that's where the Browns would be at. If they signed Frank Clark, it's like, oh, do they have a big need on the defensive line? Kind of, but they addressed it with 2 other signings. So why get Frank Clark then? Because why not? Right? Why not add another guy?
Big postseason player, Frank Clark.
His
His game
is.
elevates in the
Yes,
postseason.
and that's a very good point Patrick raises, right?
Which is where the Browns will be.
Right. The Browns aren't looking at this like, all right, let's get a good regular season together, and then we'll start booking D times in January. No tea times in January. No golfing.
No golfing.
Just Super Bowl playing. That's all. So Frank Clark definitely a postseason menace. Speaking of just why not things, I saw an interesting idea. Brett Coleman, great YouTuber.
Yeah.
He was like, the Bills should trade for DeAndre Hopkins just so that the Chiefs cannot.
That's
a pretty good idea.
That's a good idea.
It's like,
Hope
just
that doesn't
keep
happen.
DeAndre Hopkins away from Kansas City if you're Buffalo.
And
So
they could use it.
we're going to have a bit of a mailbag Q&A later on in the show. So if you got any questions or takes or anything like that, use, the dog bowl just came up, #Browns, or super chat like Josh and Levi, they're coming up again. And we'll throw those on screen for everyone to see. So use #Browns or super chat to get on the show. Now, coming up on today's show, we got the latest news and rumors, new mock draft for the people, because without pick 42, we got to kind of set our sights elsewhere, and then updated free agent targets. So that's what we got on tap for everyone today. As soon as Patrick gives me the thumbs up, we will jump into the latest news and rumors. We ready? Okay, let's talk about the latest on your Cleveland Browns. We've got some interesting Browns news and rumors coming at you today, but first, we are in a sub battle this week with our other AFC North channels here at Chat Sports, including the Bengals breakdown, which just got started a month or so ago, and Steelers talk. And it's pretty head-to-head, neck and neck right now. So we are in second, trying to get up to first. Let's take down Steelers talk. Let's beat the Steelers inside the walls of Chat Sports and at First Energy Stadium, and I was about to say Heinz Field, but their shitty Acrisure Stadium or whatever it's called now. So hit that sub button for the best Browns coverage. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. This is a Browns YouTube channel that has so much talent on its roster. It's tough to really wrap your mind around and process that the Browns have the most talented roster, and I will say franchise history at this present moment. If you're not excited about the future of this team, I don't know what to tell you. So with that, let's jump into it. Following the big Elijah Moore trade, did the Browns win the trade, right? Everyone loves to know, did you win or did you lose the trade? I'm going to give it 3 Bernie heads, right? I'm not going to go all the way to 4 and say it's an absolute for 2 reasons. One, we got to watch Elijah Moore play before we crown a champion. 2, I think this actually may be a very good instance of both teams might have won the trade, right? The Jets moved on from a receiver that didn't have a spot in their offense because they signed Hardman and Allen Lazard. And the Browns picked up a very much needed speedy receiver at the price of going back 32 picks in the draft. That might be a very good win-win, right? The Jets can get a good player at 42 for another need they have for their roster, and the Browns get a very much needed speedy wide receiver, right? I think both sides may be winners, but I'm going to go with the Browns maybe getting the earlier edge because Cleveland now checks every single box they had this offseason. The Jets got to actually do something with that 42nd overall pick, right? Which, if we know the New York Jets, it's not like they have a fantastic history of drafting players. So for now, I'm going to give the early edge to the Browns because we know what Elijah Moore is, and we have a lot of optimism of what he could become. For the Jets, I got to wait and see what they do with pick 42. Now, I did find this tweet interesting, and I wanted to get it in front of you guys. Computer Cowboy, it's like an NFL Twitter account pretty much at its bare bones. Pick 42 for pick 74 and more. Cleveland gives up the equivalent of a mid-4th round pick in surplus value for more. So there's a couple of ways of looking at what does the actual computer spit out when you take in Elijah Moore and pick 74 for pick 42. I comped it as an early 3rd round pick, but Computer Cowboy says, no, not so fast. Mid-4th round pick, which makes me feel even better about this trade. Now, Elijah Moore, through 2 seasons so far, you've probably seen it all over the place. And I don't know about you, I'm not getting sick and tired of reading or hearing about it. 538 yards, 5 touchdowns in 11 games. If you prorated that over a 17-game season, that's an 800-plus yard receiver and over 7 touchdowns for not even a wide receiver 2, right? When we look at this depth chart for Cleveland, like, you can make arguments of who the number 2 really is, DPJ or Moore now. But Elijah Moore in the slot, he played about 50% of the snaps there last year. He talked about that in his press conference today, which we'll get to in just a moment. But right now, this wide receiver room seems pretty full to me. Those 4 guys on screen all making the roster. That 5th spot will be a battle, I think, if they take 6 between Schwartz, Woods, Grant. I guess I'll include Felton in there to be nice, and maybe another rookie wide receiver. I've got 2 reasons, though, why I really love this trade at its core. Number 1, you added some much-needed speed. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins or Brandon Cooks would have been cool. They overlapped with Deshaun Watson, and they're better than Elijah Moore. There's no denying that, right? Who wouldn't like D-Hop over Moore? But you needed speed. This brings a new element to this offense. So for that reason, I love this trade. The second reason, you're getting a guy who's on his rookie contract for 2 more years and cheap too, right? Instead of paying DeAndre Hopkins somewhere between $14 to $19 million, you're getting Elijah Moore, a 22-year-old, for $2 million. Plus, with DeAndre Hopkins or Brandon Cooks coming over or someone like that, that's a pretty big contract to take on for this year and the future. With Elijah Moore, you don't have to worry about moving on from Amari Cooper next year, because now you've got him for 2 more years on the cheap, and you can afford to keep Cooper next year, which I think if you got D-Hop, probably would have been one or the other for 2024. So if you are thinking this Elijah Moore trade was a good move for the Browns, like this video. And if you don't, go down to the comment section. It's the pinned comment. Let me know why, or if you want to be, a real Boy Scout, you can like the video and tell me you like the trade. This is the pinned comment, though, so let me know. Elijah Moore spoke to the Browns media today, and if you want the Spark Notes or the Cliff Notes or any quick takeaways of it, 2 words: super excited. He probably said it 100 times, and that's fine. Never got tired of hearing about it. He was not, salty about the Jets or anything like that. Didn't have anything bad to say about his time in New York. Ultimately, he saw that the Jets just didn't have a role for him in their offense. He was getting somewhat pushed out. He knows how important it is to have a impactful rookie season or rookie contract over those 4 years. Set yourself up nicely for a good payday the first time you hit free agency. And he should be super excited because he's working with a great offense with Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, and a bunch of other great players on it too. All right, let's get on to the next segment, though, because I love talking about Elijah Moore, but I feel like I could talk about him all day long. This is a fun one. OBJ, is he coming back? I'm just going to give it one Bernie head. It might as well be fake news, right? But I'll keep it at the sliver of a Bernie head because, well, one, trading for DJ Moore, trading for Elijah Moore likely kills the idea of Odell Beckham Jr. coming back, right? I think the Browns are feeling really confident about where they are in the wide receiver room right now. But the Browns might be approaching that territory of, F it, why not, right? Why not get more good players? And Myles Garrett, I don't think he'd be opposed to having OBJ come back. Someone asked him on Instagram, Myles, get OBJ's ass back here immediately, brother. Garrett's response, I'm working on it. Now, I think this was later deleted, but hey, who knows? If OBJ doesn't get a ton of money elsewhere, I mean, look at this tweet he had from a little less than a week ago. I'm just so confused where the quote is from me that said I want 20. All I'm saying is 4 ain't enough. So, I mean, if a bunch of other teams are looking at Odell Beckham and they kind of fill their wide receiver need elsewhere, like the Cowboys trading for Brandon Cooks kind of took them out of the mix. If the Chiefs want OBJ and they get DeAndre Hopkins, well, if OBJ's market starts to dry up, I mean, if OBJ and his rep go to the Browns and go, you know what, we want to come back, we want to play with Deshaun Watson, and we'll do it for way less than you thought, I wouldn't put it past Andrew Berry to try and get something done. Then Mary Kay wrote an article about this not too long ago, and she said, the Browns attended Beckham's private workout in Arizona where he showed he can run. If the price is right, they won't hesitate to sign him. So I don't know what their ceiling is for Odell Beckham Jr., and I don't know if OBJ is just completely off their radar now that they have Elijah Moore. But if they think, why not even add more talent and just create an absolute unfair Madden Dynasty offense? Tell me Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski wouldn't give that a good thought of consideration? I think they would. But let me know. Where do you think OBJ ends up playing? Very curious what your predictions are. We're filming this right now, by the way, during our live show on Thursday. So hopefully by the time you're watching this, he hasn't signed somewhere. But I want to know what you're thinking. Moving on to segment number 3. Should the Browns sign Frank Clark, or will they sign Frank Clark? I'm also going to give this just one Bernie head, but it's a bigger one Bernie head than the OBJ coming back, right? It's like 1.9 Bernie heads. So here's what happened, or here's where this comes from, rather. NFL.com's writer Nick Shook wrote about players that would be great fits for different teams, and he picked the Browns as the best fit for Frank Clark. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler in 3 out of the last 4 seasons, so I don't think he has had like a downward spiral since he left the Seahawks. Now, similar to OBJ, could this be just a signing to push this roster over the edge? Right? I mean, it's like, why not go out and get another great proven player? Clark's time in Kansas City over 4 years, he might not have been superb in the regular season, but he knew how to get after the quarterback in the postseason. You might be surprised. Go look up Frank Clark's postseason stats. It dwarfs his regular season stats. He's one of the all-time postseason sack leaders. So if the Browns are thinking past Week 18, maybe Frank Clark would be a great guy to have trying to make a postseason run. Now, if you were to slot him in, I think he immediately takes over for Perion Winfrey or Jordan Elliott, whoever ends up getting that last starting defensive tackle job. I mean, really looking at this room right here, I think Perion Winfrey or that third or that second defensive tackle position is the only starting job that's not pretty much put in ink right now. It's the only one that's a little bit of a camp battle going into 2023. And then look at this. Like, could you imagine this defensive line, actually? Myles Garrett. Just look at the sacks and tackles for loss. Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, Frank Clark, Obo. Like, could you imagine all of those guys? The Browns couldn't get anyone with more than like 4 sacks last year outside of Myles Garrett. Here we're looking at 3 players above 5. Why not? I mean, that would not, how could that not be a very fun defensive line right there? So I want you guys to be the GM for me. Should the Browns sign Frank Clark? S for sign or P for pass? I kind of want to say F it and why not, right? I mean, is this team better with Frank Clark? If the answer is yes, and it's not going to cost you that much, it's not like he's stealing precious snaps from a developing Jordan Elliott or Tommy Togiai. Maybe a little bit from Perion Winfrey, but I'm not even all that sold on Perion Winfrey ready to be an NFL starting defensive tackle after a slow start for much of last year. So if Frank Clark wants to come over on the cheap, yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, go ahead and do so. I'm always talking brownies over there. Hit me up at Matthew Petey. DMs are always open. I love interacting with the dog pound. I'm definitely not some big blue check mark who thinks they're too good to reply to people. So let me know what your thoughts are on today's video over on Twitter. Should the Browns sign Frank Clark? S for sign, P for pass. Let me know what you guys think. Tim Green with a $10 super chat. I'm getting a bunch of S for signs. Why not?
Why not?
That's kind of that's the territory it's in. Why not? Right?
Why not us?
Why not? Would it make the team better? The answer is yes. Why not? Tim Green though, $10 super. Congrats to Patrick. This is great. Congrats to Patrick on his Vikings chat channel. I played for the Vikings in 1974 Pee Wee.
Awesome.
Love Fran Tarkenton, Chuck Foreman, and Purple People Eaters. People don't realize that Michael Vick ran because Frank Tarkenton walked. You know what I mean?
100%.
Fran Tarkenton was before Mike Vick.
Turn on Fran Tarkenton's highlights. You would think this is a 2023 quarterback back in the 70s. Like, I love watching Fran
It's
Tarkenton.
funny. Let's throw Tim Green's player comp on Tim because we were talking about you before we started the show.
We were, Tim.
And Pat's like, he came over to the Vikings channel. I was like, really? I tried to send as many people over. Like, shout out to him. So Tim Green, he's the Eddie Johnson of the
black
channel.
and white.
I could not find any good color pictures. So he's Eddie Johnson, the assassin. That's the request fulfilled. Tim, take a screenshot of this if you'd like. Frame it on your wall. Put it in the Louvre. You're the Eddie Johnson of the Cleveland Browns Report.
That's awesome. Yeah, Tim Green. I literally told Petey, I was like, yeah, Tim Green. He was stopping by Vikings yesterday. It made my heart feel all warm inside.
Cheers to you, Tim.
And we still will be answering questions at the end from you guys. So get those questions in there. Hashtag Browns. We'll be talking about it.
Yep. Hashtag Browns. Super chat if you got any questions. The end of the show, we're just going to kind of hang out for really as long as you guys want to and just talk shop, talk ball, talk football, talk draft, free agency, whatever's on your mind about the Cleveland Browns. So if you got any questions, got any takes, use hashtag Browns in the live chat, or you can super chat to guarantee a spot on screen. All right, Jonathan Mann, speaking of legends from yesterday, OBJ plus Clark equals why not? Exactly.
Why not us?
Why not? That is the territory we are in right now. We are playing with house money, right? We've done all of our homework.
Yep.
This team has checked everything it needed to get done. So why not more?
Yep.
Why not OBJ? Why not Frank Clark? Jonathan Mann, the Clay Matthews, speaking of legends from yesterday's live show. Hope you appreciate that, Jonathan. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel.
Petey, those uniforms for Browns,
yeah, pretty clean.
Like them.
Not too shabby.
They got to bring them back.
Yep, not too shabby. Super Bowl brownies. Jonathan, I got you, Clay Matthews. What you talking about? I like this one here. Matt Ioannidis, he was with the Panthers last year. He was like rumored trade target last August. Could make some sense to just bring up some more reinforcements. I'll put it this way. If the Browns can build a defensive line that's so good, sorry, Ellie and Togiai, if you're watching, that there's no room for Ellie or Togiai because that's how high the talent is. Do you understand how impressive that is to go from your three-man rotation last year of Taven Bryant, Jordan Elliott, and Tommy Togiai? One season later, the bar is raised so high that there's no room for them on the roster. And that's not saying that like I'm rooting for them to not be good. It's just saying that's how incredibly improved this room was, and the talent level speaks volume to the overhaul this offseason. Now, next up on the show, I want to do a mock draft. I figured that'd be appropriate, right? I was going to bed last night. I was like, you know what? Tomorrow, let's do a mock draft following the Elijah Moore trade because I think people are wondering what could the Browns do now without a first or a second round pick. So with that being said, Seeps, if you're ready.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. There's a lot of screaming going on right now. Yeah. I know. We got a couple live shows, and our Dolphins guy, I think we need his dorsal fin to be duct taped right now. You know what I mean? Don't let whale watchers know. But we might need to do some killing over there. Scarehouse Tim Zombie, we'll throw that super chat on before getting into the mock draft here. Sign Clark, he's the Josh Dobbs of the postseason. I've got a fun fact about Josh Dobbs in this mock draft, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, right. Josh Dobbs, our preseason prince. Frank Clark, the postseason hero. Now, let's jump into a Cleveland Browns mock draft. Patrick, we ready? All right, here we go, guys. Welcome into a new Browns mock draft after the Elijah Moore trade. I figured it'd be appropriate to kind of run through the picks the Browns have remaining and what they could do with those selections. So we're going to go through a mock draft. Quick disclaimer, I just filmed this video during our live show Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern. So I don't think anything's going to get dated, but if it does, just roll with the punches. Now, the Browns 2023 draft arsenal following the Elijah Moore trade looks like this. They got a pair of thirds, a pair of fourths, and a pair of fifths. That is not a bad deck of cards to have for a team without a first and a second, right? I think your average NFL fan would think the Browns have like 4 picks or something after the Deshaun Watson trade and the Elijah Moore trade. Nope, they still have 8 picks. Trades may happen. I'm not going to do any trades in this mock draft today because, let's be honest, no one's predicting a third-round trade correctly. But I think if a trade did happen, it wouldn't be to get closer to pick 42. I think it'd actually be to go back and stockpile picks for 2024 because the Browns have 7 picks for 2024. That's not bad, but look, they only have 1 second and 1 third, no fourths. They probably would like to add an extra third or fourth, so you might see this team move back actually and get more future draft picks. The other issue is the Browns, they don't have glaring needs in this draft right now, right? I think it's fair to say 21 of the 22 starting jobs are pretty much already taken for the Browns, okay? So what are the team needs? Best player available and filling out rooms, filling out spots of the depth chart where contracts are expiring after 2023, specifically linebacker, which transitions us into this. My first pick in the mock draft, round 3, I went with Noah Sewell, okay? That's Penei Sewell's brother, believe it or not. Yeah, I know. 3-year starter at Oregon, 6'1", 246 pounds. He's got awesome size, awesome athleticism. He brings a lot of versatility to the table, all that mumbo-jumbo cliche draft stuff. But he's an above-average pass rusher, great blitzer. If you watch any Oregon football this year, you know he is very good at lining up towards the line of scrimmage and getting into the backfield. He's a little bit of a below-average guy in pass coverage, but you know what? We're talking round 3 right now. You're not going to find a perfect linebacker here. In 2022, 1.5 sacks, 5 pass breakups, and 4 pass breakups, and 5.5 tackles for loss. His career stats look like this. 218 tackles. We'll throw those on screen for you. 218 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 20.5 tackles for loss. He was violent. He was a game wrecker. He was a consistent piece of this Oregon Ducks defense. And he also fits quite nicely for best player available and at somewhat of a position of need, right? Because this Browns linebacker depth chart here, JOK, Anthony Walker, and Sion Takitaki, like that is a spot that you have 3-4 guys entering the last year of their contract. And similar to his older brother, the offensive tackle of the Detroit Lions, the dude just kicks ass. You watch some of his highlights, you watch some of the tape, he is just a violent person that wants to hit people. He wants quarterbacks to hate him. And that is a perfect linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. We're going to get to more mock draft picks in just a brief moment. But I'm trying to pick up 25 new subscribers. And if we pick up 25 new subs, we can do more mock drafts. We can do more Browns content. So help us grow the channel. And in return, you will get free Cleveland Browns YouTube content. All right, let's move on to our next pick in this mock draft. It is Keeanu Benton, the 4-year starter at Wisconsin, 6'4", 309 pounds. His draft stock has really picked up since the end of the season, which I always just find very interesting how someone gets better without playing football. But he was a very solid performer, I thought, at the Senior Bowl, and he did a lot of great things also during the Combine. Now, his mechanics need improvement, but the guy, similar to Sewell, is a large, violent man. 4-year starter, like I said, in Madison. 81 career tackles, 9 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, and 4 pass breakups. And again, we are looking for one thing and one thing only: best player available. Very nice. That does happen to come at a position where you might need some help down the line. Dalvin Tomlinson and Myles Garrett and Obo are going to be on this roster for years to come. Perrion Winfrey is just entering his second year. Not absolutely sold on him being a starting NFL defensive tackle just yet. So if not, this could be a good camp body to bring some competition in. So what I want to know from everyone watching right now, though, is do you feel like the Browns need to draft more defensive linemen? Or after this free agency period, do you feel like they're pretty good at that spot? Chime in down in the comment section below. We're moving on to round number 4 in this mock draft here, and I'm going with Deuce Vaughn, running back from Manhattan, Kansas. He was a 2-year starter at K-State. He is 5'5", 179 pounds. I think of another short king from K-State who's a pretty good running back in the NFL. He plays way bigger than his size indicates. What does that mean exactly? When you watch him play, I don't think he necessarily looks like a 5'5" guy, right? He doesn't do stuff that just small running backs do. He's got no problem running in between the tackles, but he's also a great gadget player out in open space. If you watched him play, you know how electric he is. In 2022, he had 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns. The guy was just flat out a really good football player. And in round 4, what am I looking for? Really good football players and special teams contributors. And I think Deuce Vaughn can check both of those boxes for you. This could also sort of be your Kareem Hunt pass back sort of replacement, right? Not that Jerome Ford is not adequate enough to do that job, but I think Deuce Vaughn could add sort of a gimmicky trickery element to your offense. And in round 4, why not take a shot on that? Now, before we get to the rest of today's show, we've got a new draft channel here at Chat Sports that I want to invite you guys to go ahead and subscribe to. So go to youtube.com/chatNFL. Once you get over there, hit the sub button. We talk NFL draft, mock draft, draft rumors, all that good stuff. Click on the first video you see and spam Browns. That way they know the Dog Pound is the loudest fan base here at Chat Sports. Second round, 4th selection, I'm going to go with Wanya Morris, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. So he was a 2-year starter at OU. Before that, he was at Tennessee and then transferred once that coaching staff had to change. 6'5", 307 pounds. Former 5-star player. He possesses all the physical tools that most people are looking for in offensive linemen, right? He's not undersized. He doesn't need to shed a bunch of weight so he can move his feet quicker. He's got all that. The only thing he doesn't have necessarily is great mechanics, great hand placement. You know what? The Browns got the best offensive line coach in football. I think he could turn this round 4 pick right here, round 4 pick, as a possible Conklin or Wills replacement if and when the time comes, if the Browns don't see a long-term future with Jedrick Wills and they want to have someone grooming, ready to take over. If they move on from Jack Conklin after 2 years following his extension, or they don't give Jedrick Wills a second contract, Wanya Morris could be sitting in the wings to be the next starting tackle. He's also going to be a great swing tackle in the meantime. Now, round 5, pick 140, I'm going to go with Parker Washington. 2-year starter at Penn State, 5'10", not necessarily the biggest receiver out there, but similar to Deuce Vaughn, he plays bigger than his size indicates. He's not afraid to challenge bigger DBs, not gonna shy away from a jump ball or anything like that. In fact, usually you think 5'10", oh, he's a burner, he's a speeder, right? Speedster. Not really. He's actually a 5'10" receiver that acts like a 6'1" receiver. Plus, he's the cousin of Josh Dobbs. Would that not be awesome to watch in the preseason? Dobbs to cousin Washington? Now, Parker Washington, like I said, was a 2-year starter up at Penn State. In those 2 years, 110 grabs, 1,400 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He is an up-and-coming guy, but he definitely has some things to work on, so that's why he falls to the middle of day 3. Now, here are our picks so far, just to keep you guys engage and refresh your memory, I went with Noah Sewell. I went with Keeanu Benton. I went Deuce Vaughn, Wanye Morris, and Parker Washington. So with that, we'll kind of rattle off the rest of the third day of draft picks here. Starting with round 5, Yasir Abdullah. I got some notes on these guys. So let me read my notes to you on what I have for Yasir Abdullah and some of these other guys that might not be household names. So Yasir Abdullah, slightly undersized to be a true NFL edge rusher, right? 6'1", 242 pounds. Doesn't necessarily size up as a great defensive end, but also maybe not a great outside linebacker. So that's kind of why he's fallen a little bit here. Very productive at Louisville from the start. So you love to see guys who aren't just one-hit wonders, but players who can contribute on special teams, because that's really what you're looking for in day 3 of the draft. Other thing I had, good special teamer early on, and who knows, maybe he can become a rotational edge rusher as well. Round 6, pick 190. I'm going Jalen Green from Mississippi State. He was originally at Texas, former 4-star recruit, transferred to Starkville. Likely a strong safety in the NFL, I have written down here. Good run stopper, and similar to Abdullah, you are just looking for special teams guys at this point, and I think Jalen Green could carve out a role as that on your roster. All right, so the mock draft results. To round it out in round 7, I went with linebacker Sir Vochia Dennis. I don't think I got that right. I really picked him just because of his name. That is the coolest name in this draft. You want to be the team that gets the coolest name in this draft. So that is my mock draft. How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be honest, my grade, I'm going to go B-, okay? I'll grade my mock draft as a B- because I didn't pick in rounds 1 or 2. So I didn't find any day 1 starters. You don't find any starters, it's hard to give yourself anything above a B. But I do think my earlier selections are really good players that might not have big contributions in 2023. But if/when injuries pop up, I feel a lot better about some of these guys stepping into larger roles. So that is my grade for this mock draft. Let me know how you would grade it down in the comment section. Mailbag coming up in just a minute. It's like 90 degrees in the studio right now. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I was like losing my mind in that last cut because literally.
It was hot in here, dude.
On the Mekong River. It was that hot.
When I came in here, it was also freezing.
I almost gave myself a dog bowl just to cool myself off for free.
I don't know if you noticed the chat. I said no more girl talk. I said we're talking football.
We're talking football. Guys being dudes.
AFX, I will say this. Time heals all.
Heals all.
It's going to be okay. You know what you do? You distract yourself by not talking about it. That's what guys do best.
Right.
You distract yourself by focusing on other things. That would be my best advice to you.
I'm turning this. Yeah, I was just dying.
No, I'm good.
Okay, now I feel a lot better. Next up on the show, that feels way better. Thank you, Tex. We're going to talk free agents. We're going to get to a mailbag later on. Use hashtag Browns, or you can super chat to get on the show. Let's talk free agency because it's not like this is a glaring, obvious thing for the Browns at this point, but we are talking about what's been described as the most aggressive GM this offseason, Andrew Berry. So I'm not going to put it past him to make another move or two. So just some names still on the market to keep an eye on. So with that, Seeps, if you're ready, I'm ready. I'm going to take a sip here. I'm dying. No, I'm good. Okay. Let's compose ourselves, Matthew, and let's talk about Browns free agent targets. Coming up on today's show, we're going to check out some free agent targets for the Cleveland Browns. Now, quick disclaimer, we're filming this Thursday afternoon during our live show, so tune in next week if you want to be a part of that. So if any of these guys get signed, unfortunately, that's just the nature of free agency, so just move along to the next name. Now, I will say this. I think the Browns are probably pretty close to being tapped out for free agency or any more trades. But we are talking about Andrew Berry, Everyone described him at the Combine as being the most aggressive GM this offseason. So I'm not going to put it past him to maybe make another move or two. Now, the Browns' cap space right now is in the neighborhood of $10.7 million. They'll get some money once the John Johnson release goes through after June 1st. They also got to pay their draft picks, but none of them are going to get paid that much because they don't have a first or even second round draft pick. So they still got some money to spend, in my opinion. With that being said, let's talk about some potential free agent targets. Starting with the best guys left, going through 1 to 4. Yannick Ngakoue, too expensive. Would have been fun, not going to happen anymore. Bobby Wagner, now that's interesting, and we'll look at him in just a second. Odell Beckham Jr., that would be a lot of fun. He's in the category of why not, right? The Browns are just that good, why not? And then Leonard Floyd, too expensive, just not going to work out for the Browns. But Bobby Wagner, when he got released by Seattle, I kind of thought he might sort of come down to earth a little bit. He was better last year with the Rams than he ever was in Seattle in recent memory, right? 140 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 5 pass breakups. He was one of the best, if not the best linebacker in football all of last year. Now, speaking of the Rams, they didn't overlap, but Odell Beckham Jr., does it make sense? Not really. Does it have to make sense? Also, not really, right? The Browns are just playing with house money at this point. They have accomplished everything they set out to do this offseason already. So if OBJ wants to come back to Cleveland for cheap and play with Deshaun Watson, or if Bobby Wagner wants to go to a contending team, and he decides, you know what, the Browns right now are just one Bobby Wagner away from going the distance, yeah, I wouldn't see why Andrew Berry would be opposed to either of these signings. So pick a player for me, Wagner or OBJ. If you had to pick one, who would it be? I think I would go Bobby Wagner because I feel like on offense, we've approached a peak, but Wagner and JOK and Anthony Walker, tell me that would not be a very fun linebacker core to have. Some other free agent targets out there. Dalton Reisner, guard, no. Frank Clark, now that's a name we'll keep an eye on, okay? Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback, no. DJ Chark, wide receiver, not going to happen anymore. We're going to look at Frank Clark specifically in just a second, but today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens. Now, I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day, and so can you when you go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Now, I started taking AG1 because I got really tired of taking pills or vitamins each morning and wanted something that actually tastes great. And Athletic Greens does the job. They've got great ingredients and also for a great price as well, and they're going to get you guys some awesome benefits later on. Now, when you go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports, you're going to find out about all of the great benefits it comes with. Plus, you're going to get a comprehensive supplement plan that actually tastes great. Like I said, take it each morning. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water, and boom, it's done first thing in the morning. Really like that it costs less than $3 a day, which if you ask me is a win-win. So go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. When you use that link, which is in the comments and the description of today's show, you're going to find out that you will get 5 free travel packs along with a year-long supply of vitamin D with your first purchase. Give them a visit today. Frank Clark, though, while he was with the Kansas City Chiefs following the Seattle Seahawks over the last 4 seasons, might not have been a regular season hero, but the guy was a postseason menace. And if you just think about it, is this room right now better with or without Frank Clark? Yeah, Perion Winfrey would be nice because, he's cheaper, he's on his rookie contract, and he could develop into a long-time defensive tackle for this team. But you're telling me Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, Frank Clark, and Obo Okoronkwo would not be an awesome defensive line to have? This could be a sneaky one to watch for. I think Frank Clark, if he doesn't get a lot of buzz elsewhere in free agency, March turns to April, April turns to May, and then training camp's around the corner and it's July, and he's in that veteran defensive tackle sort of tier of no one's interested in Ndamukong Suh anymore or something like that, maybe the Browns pick up the phone and give him a call if Perrion Winfrey in August is not impressing them. And they're like, you know what? Let's go out and get someone who was awesome in the postseason because we have aspirations that go beyond Week 18. Now, I'm trying to get this channel up to 19,000 subscribers by the time the NFL draft rolls around, and we are about 1,000 subs away. I know it's a bit of a lofty goal to pick up 1,000 subs in just a few short weeks, but help me accomplish that goal, right? I would love to get a bigger Browns channel so I can do more videos for you guys here at Chat Sports. So if you're looking for more videos in return, hit that sub button down below. Some more free agents still on the market, at least as of right now. Poona Ford, that's another defensive tackle to keep an eye on, right? If the Browns decide Winfrey's not maybe their starting defensive tackle. Bud Dupree, no. Miles Jack, that's an interesting one because we always talk about linebackers now. Marcus Peters, no. But Miles Jack, remember, he was with the Jags for a while. We'll look at his stats last year from the Steelers, who released him earlier this offseason. He was just sort of meh for Pittsburgh. 104 tackles, 3 sacks, no tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, no forced fumbles, no interceptions. He never really had a big play in the Steel City. So they decided we're going to move on. And I think this linebacker room with JOK and Anthony Walker and Taki, does it need Miles Jack? Probably not. But if they want to add some extra depth because they're a little concerned about maybe an injury happening or Walker or Taki not being ready early on the season, that could be an interesting one to keep an eye on for. So I think this would be more of a special teams signing, right? Ignore Elijah Moore. Sorry about that. It's supposed to be Miles Jack. I don't see any big names coming, though, right? As a whole, the Browns might sign some special teamers, but I don't think they're going to go out and spend big money in free agency anymore. I think they're pretty much tapped out of that market, but don't rule anything out with Andrew Berry, as we have learned. So spam it down in the comment section below, a name of a player you would like the Browns to sign. Give me your top free agent targets still out there. Very curious who you got your sights on. Last 4 free agent targets to look at here. Clowney, funny. Isaiah Wynn, no. Taylor Lewan, no. Ezekiel Elliott, no, right? Why do you even give that even hesitation? He's looking at the Eagles just to troll the Cowboys, by the way. The Bengals could make some sense, right? Go back to Ohio. And the last team was the Jets, and the Jets just loved washed-up running backs. Le'Veon Bell, Matt Forte wasn't washed up, but he was towards the end of his career. So none of those names make sense to me. So I think of the guys we looked at, Frank Clark probably makes the most logical sense for what the Browns need and how much they can spend. Bobby Wagner would be a ton of fun, though, you have to admit. That's it for today's show. If you have not already, hit me up on Twitter. I'm talking NFL. I'm talking Brownies over there. So if that's something you're interested in, that's my Twitter handle down below, at Matthew Petey. Give me a follow. I love replying to Browns fans and going back and forth. All right, get those hashtags in, hashtag Browns or Super Chat to get on the show. Let me know what questions you guys have, what you want to talk about. I feel like we haven't gotten a Super Chat in a little bit of a minute. So
we haven't.
We have not. So if you want to send a Super Chat in, you like the free content, by all means, feel free to do so. No pressure at all. Liking the video and being active in the chat goes a long way as well. Chris saying we are $54 million over the cap in 2024. That's a fair point to make about maybe rolling some money over to try and help 2024 out. I can't guarantee that Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, Wyatt Teller, and Nick Chubb, all 3 of those guys will be on this team in 2024 because they will have to clear some money elsewhere, and it might come at some cuts, right? John Johnson was cut. That was really about it. But that's why I like the Elijah Moore trade even more, because if you got DeAndre Hopkins or Brandon Cooks, that $54 million balloons up, and then it really feels like boom or bust for 2023. Jonathan Mann with a $5 super. Tyvis Powell, former Browns player, said an Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Wagner wants Dallas. No cold weather or OTAs. They're friends. We'll see. Dallas loves doing one thing in the offseason, and that's fucking nothing. So wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys just go, I don't want to call Bobby.
Yeah.
We're golf. First off, Jerry Jones takes his private yacht down to the Cayman Islands during free agency.
Yep.
That's how he spends time when other owners are signing checks. So he might want Dallas. Dallas loves to not spend money in free agency.
Yeah.
Now, yes, he has played his entire career on the West Coast. Right, went to college in Utah, went to Seattle, then went to L.A. He has never crossed the Mississippi, I believe, to live. So it'd be an adjustment. But if no other team calls Colin and he wants to play on a contending team, the Browns could be his best option.
Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you for the super chat. We'll combine that with this next one for Levi Mayfield. AFC Championship or bust?
Get the hype train going, Levi.
I'm going to put it this way. I think it's playoff win or bust. It's not go to the playoffs.
So you think even if they make the playoffs, first round exit, you consider it a failed season?
For the payroll, yes.
Expectations are high in Cleveland. I love to hear it.
When the Yankees don't win a playoff series, is that a bust?
Yeah.
Okay, the Browns are not the Yankees, but the Browns' payroll
is
not far off from the Yankees.
And this roster, you should.
And talent. That's my point, right?
Yep.
The Browns are not paying to go to the playoffs. That's not what Jimmy Haslam was signing up for. He did not pay $230 million to go to the playoffs and lose round one on the road. He is paying to win playoff games. He is paying, honestly, to host playoff games.
Yeah.
That is what he wants right now.
Hey, division is, besides the Bengals, there'll probably still be a wagon, but division's wide open. It's going to be Browns-Bengals racing for it.
So, appreciate the super chat, guys. Preston, next up, what's going on, man? Do you think our roster is the best it has been since the 90s? Yeah. I think this is the best roster in franchise history.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I was not alive for the Cardiac Kids days or Bernie Kosar throwing the football around. But, come on. Like, it's Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, and Amari Cooper all on the same team. Yes. We're talking about, objectively, 4 players, top 10 in their position group. Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Joel Bitonio.
Yeah.
Right.
And don't you have another?
Amari Cooper may not be top 10 receiver. There's a lot of good receivers
What's
now.
your lineman's name?
Wyatt Teller,
Is that the one? Who's your left tackle?
Jedrick Wills, or Jack Conklin.
Wasn't Conklin an all-pro?
Conklin was an all-pro his first year in Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
he could be.
You could be too. So, yes, this is by far, I think, the best Browns roster ever.
Come on up here, Coop. Actually,
What's up,
come
Coop?
here. Come here. McCullough, watch out. So,
What's good?
we're trying to get shadow banned. They're trying to kick us out of the studio.
What's going on?
We actually are. It's two different things.
What's every other studio doing?
A, Eagles Live. B, Raiders Live. Can't use C. Can't use D. E, here. F, no TV. G, no TV.
We're getting shadow banned.
What the fuck?
We're only in
When are you moving in?
Y'all have to wait.
15, 20?
Okay, this is
We got time.
This is
I
heartbreaking.
know, I'm sorry to Browns fans.
Yeah, I don't want to hear this. Okay, well, let's keep the super chats rolling, and then you can kick Eagles out. So,
They literally just
well, they have to edit a quick show.
Yeah, quick show.
Yeah, In-N-Out
Cuts.
Burger.
Get
Okay.
your cuts.
We got some more. Oh, Cassie's here. We got some more Browns questions to get to. JJ Guerrero. Do we still have a shot at Ivan Pace in the draft? Am I supposed to know who Ivan Pace is? I'm going to look him up.
He is Iowa State, I believe.
Ivan Pace, Cincinnati for Cincinnati.
Oh, okay, yeah. The 6-foot linebacker.
Yeah.
I like him.
Sure, we have a shot at him.
Hell yeah.
Because he's
Third
not
round
a
guy.
first or second round guy. So,
No.
third round guy, JJ, I'm sorry, you caught me not knowing ball. I did not know Ivan Pace. That's the beauty of the NFL draft, though. I will say this, at least I admit, I don't know Ivan Pace. Everyone loves to pretend like they know every prospect during the draft.
You don't.
You don't. You just go, great athleticism.
Yep.
Really good speed. Just got to get the mechanics down.
Yeah.
Jonathan Mann with a $5 super.
Keep us here.
Nope, I'm paying to stay. I literally am like kind of shell-shocked right now by this.
I know, PD, I tried to send you a Slack. You didn't check Slack. I didn't want this to be a bomb dropped on your head.
Fuck.
But I was
that.
pissed off. I
Yeah.
was pissed off. Because normally we have the Steelers trying to get in here and get us out.
Right, now it's Knicks.
Now it's the Knicks.
Now it is unbelievable.
Who likes the Knicks?
Right.
Go Cavs.
Jonathan, I appreciate you. We'll have to fight Marshall Green and Knicks now.
Yep.
Cheers to you. We'll do a dog bowl with this and Chris Yarden's $10 super chat. Let's go,
Keep 'em
Chris.
coming. We're staying around, Chris.
Matt, you are definitely going places. That's very nice of you, Chris. Your analysis is always spot on. You are very talented in cutting to the chase, extremely entertaining and informative. Take a bow, sir. P.S. Check Jason Taylor. Chris, this is not even a burner of mine. This is probably the nicest thing I've ever had, and that includes like grandmas who watch the show and don't know football.
Shout
and
out
they
to
just think
Chris.
I do a great job no matter what. So, Chris, thank you so much. I think this beats out any birthday check I get from my grandparents every single year. So, Chris, cheers to you. Really appreciate your kind words. You're the man. Go Browns. And I'll check out this guy named Jason Taylor. Sounds familiar.
Jason Taylor the second. Interesting.
Oh, I didn't see the second part. Okay. Add more context to it. Chris, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Joshua Miller, what's going on? Do we draft? I love it already. Puka Nakua. Puka Nakua. Just for the name. Wide receiver, BYU. That and the other guy I had in my mock draft. Sir something or whatever his name is. The linebacker from Pitt. Yeah. I'm all about day 3 drafting weird names. Servosia Dennis. Servosia Dennis. Yeah. Him and Puka. Good luck, broadcasters.
Yeah.
That's going to give, Joe Buck aneurysms the night before getting ready for the call.
And going back to Chris's, Jason Taylor II, he's a safety from Oklahoma State, going to be in this year's draft.
Sounds like
probably a day 2 guy.
Sounds like Jason Taylor is a Cleveland Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Chris,
Bring
if you want him, we're getting him. I'll talk to AB on my drive home tonight. Jason Taylor, welcome to the land.
Yeah.
Joshua Miller, can Elijah Moore replace Amari Cooper when he lets go in 2024 as a cap casualty? So let's talk about this for a brief second. Amari Cooper's cap hit for 2024 is about $23 million. There's very little dead money remaining. If you did it post June 1st, you'd actually have no dead cap hit for 2023. If you do pre-June 1st, it's like $10 million in savings, $11 million in dead money. So I don't think they have to move on from Amari Cooper if he's still productive. You know what I mean? I don't think Amari Cooper will be a cap casualty. He could be cut because he could be maybe just having a down year and they think his best football is behind him. But if Amari Cooper goes over 1,000 yards next year, I expect him to come back. Now, you're going to extend DPJ, so that will put 2 wide receiver bills at the same time. And that's not impossible. But that might come at the price of, like, Wyatt Teller. You know what I mean? Guards are a bit easier to replace in the NFL. So, Batonio's not going anywhere. I worry about Teller. So, that could be the situation.
Shadow ban, lift it.
Oh, how so?
Be open.
Let's go!
Really?
The Knicks are going to a different studio. We get to stay. Let's go.
That's right.
Thank you, Coop. We're not going anywhere. The show goes on.
We're not leaving.
The Cleveland M. Turner family. This is like my second family now. These guys were hanging around yesterday. I love it. Hey, we ain't going anywhere for a while. Let's go get it. I love it. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof. Love it. Appreciate you guys. Tex, could I get another beer, please? Dog Bowl's coming up for everyone. Oh, we got a first super chat from Paul. The Berlin Wall knocked over.
Berlin
Suck
Wall
it,
has been knocked
Gorbachev.
over.
Let's go.
Paul.
Shout out,
to
Paul.
So we had Knicks now. Those scumbags trying to shadow ban us.
No, we're not. I told him no. Stay.
Joshua Miller with a $2 super chat.
Do not.
Petey's awesome, and Pat is an MVP producer. You
not
guys
come.
wanted to kick us out of here. And we
You
got
guys wanted to
Joshua
kick
Miller
us out
saying
so
we're
bad.
awesome and he's an MVP. Not today. Not so
today.
fast.
We're not leaving, Josh.
Show goes on. Thank you, Josh. You
Get those
are an
Knicks
MVP.
fans outta
Get the
here.
Knicks. Let's go, Cavs.
Let's go, Cavs.
Who's gonna win?
Cavs in 5.
Can you hop on for a second? Because isn't it going to be Cavs, Knicks, 4v5?
Locked
Have
in.
Knicks.
Cavs, Knicks, 4v5 in the playoffs. Who you got in 7 games?
Suck my nuts, Donovan Mitchell. You wish you were a Knick.
Oh, show your face.
Let's go, Knicks. Let's go, Knicks.
Knicks.
I used to produce this show.
Oh, you got too big for us. Scarehouse Tim Zombie tuning in from Cleveland. I know that much. I was alive for the Kosar era and loved it. I want to feel that with Deshaun Watson in the Browns era now.
I do too, Petey.
You know?
Petey and I, our take of the next NFL season is Deshaun Watson reminds everybody who the F he is.
Really quickly, top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, undisputed. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow are 1, 2, 3 in some order.
Yeah.
4 and 5 are up for grabs, I think.
Oh, easy.
Right? You can go Herbert, you can go Lamar, you can go Watson, you can go Trevor Lawrence, maybe. Not
Hurts,
quite.
maybe.
You're right, Hurts. No, I'll keep. I got some spillage left. Right? So 4 and 5 are open for grabs.
Yeah.
My prediction is if Watson's closer to 10 right now than 5 at this present moment, at the end of 2023, he's closer to 5 than 10.
Yeah.
That
I love
you know
that.
what I mean?
I
He
love that.
might be 6 if Herbert and Hurts go 4 or 5 or something.
How about this? Our boys, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, 4-5 end of season.
Yeah.
Potential AFC championship
Jalen
game,
Hurts.
Browns, Jaguars.
Jalen Hurts, low-key, major regression coming his way.
Oh, it's so coming.
It's coming, baby.
love that take.
Yep.
Paul, welcome
Paul,
to the club.
first super chat. Do we have a little gift thing?
Nah,
Paul,
this
first
computer-
super chat.
Shout out the ball.
Shout out to you, Paul. You're the man. Thank you so much, Paul Kingsley. Everyone, spam Paul in the chat. His first super chat. That's a dog bowl. End of the beer dog bowl, too. Paul.
Shout out to Paul.
Shout out to you, Paul. We got some more super
appreciate
chats to
it.
catch up on here. We got Jonathan Mann with a $5 super. What's up, Jonathan? Seeps, thank you. Knicks, we took Donovan Mitchell. We're keeping your studio too. Cavs, baby. I
the
love
Knicks
it.
outta here.
Get the Knicks out of here. The Knicks can't even handle a nicked up Timberwolves team at home. They don't even know how to handle the Miami Heat. I'm telling you, Cavs, Knicks series, Cavs in 5.
Oh, easy Cavs in 5.
I think what you want is you don't want to sweep them because then you get too much rest for the next series. Lose game 4, let Madison Square Garden think they did something, and then boom, you win the next game and you are moving. All right, we're all caught up on Super Chat, so hey, this is a good time if you want to. Super Chat, skip the line, get to the front, and we'll throw it on screen for everyone to see. In the meantime, though, Josh is going to dinner. Nachos Thursday.
Wow, that's a great day of the week.
That actually leads me to a good draft. You and me, ready? Impromptu.
Here we go. All
Josh,
right.
don't leave just yet.
All right, hold on.
Come on screen. You ready? 3-round draft, nachos toppings.
Want me to go first?
You go first.
Cheese.
Cheese? Okay, yeah, you kind of
Does
need
that
cheese.
count?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
all right.
No, cheese included. Cheese
Cheese-
included.
all right, cheese is
'Cause
included?
I can't have nachos without cheese.
Ground beef.
Okay, I will go with, you take beef, I'll take shredded chicken.
Okay. Jalapenos.
I hate jalapenos. I'm so happy you said
I
that.
love
I love
jalapenos.
pico. Love pico on my nachos.
Okay.
Pico de gallo.
I guess I'm a fan of sour cream.
See, I hate sour cream
Like,
too.
I
I'll go
don't mind
guac.
it.
I'll go guac. Shredded-
I should have went guac.
Yeah, you fucked
That's
up.
a
I
guac.
always win these drafts. Okay, there we go. Let's go Browns, baby. Okay, so just talking Brownies for a moment. Elijah Moore, right? You are a Cleveland Brown. Welcome aboard. And, I mean, right now we're all in that status, I feel like. It's March 23rd. Can September 12th or whatever week 1 is just get here already?
Dude, we have a long way to go, and it
Like,
sucks.
it's so blue bally to have this great of a roster and just have to wait.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Does anyone else feel the same way of like, you got all this energy in you and you're like, there's no freaking football for a while
I
even.
know. I mean, we'll feel it during this, especially during June and July.
Yeah, that's very true. Paul Kingsley, what's going on, dude? What about the Browns trading back into round 2 for a player at a thin position? Linebacker Jack Campbell, safety Jamie Robinson. I like both of those players a lot. I don't see the Browns moving up to get them.
So
I think
Pete,
this is just a place where the Browns have to take an L and go, you know what? We're just not picking in rounds 1 and 2 because that's the price of moving your second round pick to get Elijah Moore. Like, that's just the cost of doing business.
So would you take the third, like your 98, and maybe
74 and 98.
Would you take 98 and 126 to move up to, I don't know, late round to 55?
I guess so, yeah.
Because I feel like
If that's all it costs, if 74 and 98 got you to 50 to 55. If 74-98 got you to 55, think about that. That is 13 picks after where the Browns were scheduled to go at 42. So that it would be like 12, like the 26th pick in the second round, roughly. Just doing some quick math right there. I'm not opposed to just getting better players than just like getting a bunch of picks later on.
Because, okay, I will, Petey knows the Browns, but I will play devil's advocate right now.
Yeah.
You said 21 of 22 probably
Starters
are
are
all filled. What if you could go move up even maybe a round one, late or early round two?
You're not getting to round one.
Or what about early round two? And you
Okay.
send a ton of picks just to fill in that one need, and they have a guy kind of circled. Then the depth's probably gone. That's the problem.
Right. Here's the thing. The Browns have to have a roster for more than just 2023. And
True.
right now they are
Yes.
building their roster through free agency and trades. That is not going to be something that lasts for a long time.
Yep.
You need to have rookies and second and third year guys who you drafted on your roster who are cheap and who are contributors. Because you cannot build a roster forever just through free agency. It's just too expensive. The salary cap exists. Eventually the cap is real. So I think if anything, they might move back a couple picks to get more picks for next year. Because right now they're like, hey, our roster's pretty set for this year. We're below or we're above the zero cap, whatever you want to call it. But next year, we're in the red again. We might have to make some cuts. And then we might actually be very dependent on those rookies next year to be impact players, right?
Yeah.
Juan Thornhill signed a 3-year contract, if I remember correctly. Like, he's going to be on this team for 2 years at least. But you got a whole bunch of linebackers who are free agents next year. Find some of the replacements now, but you might need to get a real replacement next year. There's always next year's draft. It's not just this draft only. Mark Stevenson, what's going on, dude? OTAs, draft, training camp, preseason, cut down, and first game of the season. Go Browns, Petey, go Wild. I have actually long had the take. I hate preseason football. I hate when people say football is back in August. It's not. It's not, right? We watch a preseason game, we're excited, but then we sort of realize I actually really don't care if they win or lose. I'm not emotionally invested.
No.
And it doesn't start for a month. It's a long wait. It's not like a 2-week tune-up with one exhibition game. So preseason is like, I like to say, if you had a glorious steak dinner planned, so you don't eat anything all day, that's the off season. You're waiting. And you get to that steakhouse, and then they give you whole grain bread as an appetizer. And you're like, that's not what I wanted. I don't want to fill up on whole grain bread.
Yeah.
I want to wait for my ribeye. Welcome to my TED Talk.
I like that.
Marcus Smith. Any chance we can trade both thirds for Buckner? Just Buckner's price tag's too big. $20 million base salary this season, I believe. Like, yeah, it would be a lot of fun to add DeForest Buckner to this depth chart.
Oh, still light him in there for Perry.
Could you imagine
Winfrey? Jeez.
Garrett, Tomlinson, Buckner, and Obo? That is unfair.
The NFL would probably ban that trade.
Yes, but the issue is that's just too expensive, right? That is just one of those moments where it's like only so much money can go around. Yeah, you could restructure like Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb's contract, but then you're going to make life hell for yourself in 2024 and 2025. It'd be pretty fun if you win a Super Bowl this year, which if you win a ring, I think the ends justify the means. It'll all be worth it. But I also don't want to be the Rams, who so quickly come crashing down to earth.
Very fast.
So fast. Like, immediately.
And
Not
now
a season, like not 2 seasons later, the very next season.
They're also incredibly boring now.
Yes.
Like, they're not going to be a very fun
I
team.
get it. Winning is like, I don't know. I've always had the take like, yes, you do whatever you can to win a Super Bowl and you won't regret it. But also like, is there a price of winning a Super Bowl and then just going to the absolute cellar for years to come? You'll probably look back and go like, yeah, that Super Bowl was great, but I would like to actually still be competitive. Da Bros, what's going on? Predict the Browns record and we'll make Chubb get traded and for what? Predict the Browns record. I think 10 wins is the floor.
I thought you were about to say 10 wins is my prediction.
You think it's a prediction? 10
No,
7?
I think you were being.
Oh, yeah, no. 10 wins is the floor.
undervaluing them.
Anything under 10 is a dramatic underachievement and a fireable offense for this coaching staff.
Yep.
I think 11 wins probably, right? 11 wins, 11-6. Like, it's hard to win in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes does not go undefeated. Patrick Mahomes actually loses more than just 1 or 2 games a season. So, if he's winning 13 games, Browns going 11-6 in year 1 with Deshaun Watson as the full-time starter, I think that's fair to say. I'll go 11-6 for the Browns.
Let me pull something up.
They have an easy schedule, though.
I remember that. I think
Oh, they got the easiest schedule in the NFL.
I could
The
see them
toughest
pulling
part of the
12.
schedule is just the division games. Like, if the Bengals sucked, my God, would it be a cakewalk schedule? But you're probably going to go about 3-3 in the division, maybe 4-2. Stefanski's always done well in the AFC North. You find a way to split games with Cincy and Baltimore and sweep Pittsburgh, which would be awesome. 4-2, not too shabby right there if you ask me.
You also have 9 home games this year instead of just 8.
Yeah,
So,
extra home game.
extra home game. That matters.
Looking for a super chat, though. If we get another super chat, we get to keep the show going. Otherwise, though, it's not Nick's coming in next, but we just can't
Steelers
loiter
talk.
around forever, unfortunately. No shadow ban.
We actually have Steelers talk coming.
Max with a $20 super chat. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, Max. Answering the call. Been waiting for this show all day. Been waiting for you all day, Max.
Let's go, Max.
Patrick and I love to say our favorite days of the week: Sunday #1 for football,
Yes.
Thursday #2 for Browns.
Thursday Browns, baby.
Thursday Browns, baby.
Finally, I'm back with my people. My
$20
Midwest
super
brothers.
chat. I'm taking a break from the Fireball today because I got home last night, or when I got home last night, rather. I was a little overserved. The Uber driver was looking at me funny. Okay. Cheers.
You Ubered home from work? That's funny. Appreciate it, Max. Shout out to you.
Dude, we got fucked up yesterday.
Yeah?
Oh, big time. Yeah, we had some dirty dog bowls.
Ooh.
If we get a $50 super chat, I'll do another dirty dog bowl. That's my feat, right? That's gonna be the going rate for today. Paul Brooks with a $2 super. Let's go, Paul.
The man,
Max,
Paul.
thank you so much for the super chat, and also really appreciate you carving time out of your day for this show. You don't know how much that means to me. Let's go Browns, baby. Whew. What did we get out of Greedy Williams? Good CB play for 2 seasons. He was a healthy scratch for the second half of this year when it's like, hey, Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, and Denzel Ward are our guys moving forward. So just no real sense in giving you snaps when we know you're going to be a free agent and we're not going to re-sign you. So I think Greedy Williams, he got signed by the Eagles, is actually going to be a low-key good signing for them because Greedy Williams didn't suck, right? He was a good player. Injuries kind of derailed him. And ultimately, Martin Emerson just being a baller was sort of his demise. So it's a kind of unfortunate that didn't work out because he's a good player. I wish him the best in Philly, and I think the Eagles got a really good corner. Paul, thanks for the super chat. Preston, first-time super chatter.
Let's go.
Preston, let's go. If the Browns win the Super Bowl this year, you have to do a polar plunge. Agreed.
I'll do it with Pete.
Yeah. Pat will do it naked. He'll skinny dip.
Oh, I'll skinny dip.
We'll hop into Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Cheeks out and all. Yeah, if the Browns win the Super Bowl this year, like Super Bowl Sunday, President's Day on Monday, I'm in Lake Erie. And then Tuesday's the parade. That's usually the turnaround.
Is it Tuesday? Is it really that fast?
Like Wednesday usually is the parade. Tuesday or Wednesday. It's not Monday. Monday they go to Disney. But yeah, agreed. Brownies win the Super Bowl this year, I'm doing a polar plunge. Bookmark this, save this, record it, and don't be afraid to remind me next year because I would love nothing more than to get borderline hypothermia in February because the Browns won the Super Bowl.
I would love it.
I think that's a pretty good deal right there.
What NFC team, and the chat can answer this too, hypothetically, Browns, you have your dream season, they make the Super Bowl and they're winning. What NFC opponent would you want to be? Because I think about that all the time. What's your dream NFC opponent?
Dream NFC opponent to play?
Like, what would feel the best? Like, what
to beat?
Like in the Super Bowl. Like,
Who would you want to beat
Super
the
Bowl-
most?
Yes, out of the NFC.
NFC South, I don't care about at all. NFC West, I don't care about at all. NFC North, no.
I already have 2 Cowboys in the chat.
I think Cowboys would be pretty.
That would be
Damn.
awesome.
if the Cleveland Browns slay the
Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys,
I love it, dude.
America would not be like.
What about?
I think big fat Mike McCarthy would be looking around like, we're not going to let this happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, someone's going to intervene. Jerry, come down here, please. Like, this can't happen.
What about AFC Championship opponent? You can't say divisional opponents. That doesn't count.
I would like to beat the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I
in
think
Arrowhead?
no, in Cleveland.
Oh, you want it?
It'd be
you
even
want
better.
The,
You know what I mean?
the celebration at home.
No,
Yeah.
but I think just beating the Chiefs would be a good reminder of like, yeah, Kansas City, like, are they in a dynasty? They're one Super Bowl away from actually being a real dynasty, I think. You got to win 3.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
win
mean,
3.
You think about it. 5 straight AFC championships.
Right.
They call it the Arrowhead Invitational.
I hate DirecTV. All right, we are 6 cents away from $100. Could someone please send in 6 cents so that my OCD doesn't take over about being 6 cents away from $100 in super chats? Yeah, it would be. I think everyone would love to have Browns Lions.
That would
But
be
like,
cool.
it'd be
That would
cool for like everyone else. But if you're a fan of the Browns or the Lions, it's like you look across the sideline, you're like, we've both been the bottom feeders of the NFL.
We both deserve this.
We both deserve our own
Yeah.
Super Bowl. It's sad that like one of us has to lose. You know what I mean? So like that's why I actually wouldn't do Browns Lions, because I would feel bad for Lions fans if the Browns won. It's like, damn, this is probably the only time you'll ever go to the Super Bowl, and you had to lose to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's not ideal for them. Okay. AG1 ad. Are you seeing this? Oh my gosh. How about that?
They've been actually running this a lot during the game.
Okay. Keep getting those questions in. Hashtag Browns if you got anything you want to talk about, anything on your mind related to the Cleveland Browns, or super chat, skip the line, hop on screen immediately. AFX Apocalypse, what's going on, my guy? What about signing Eli Apple? Besides, I have never super chatted yet before. You don't have to super chat. Don't worry. Liking the video, interacting in the chat, that goes a long way. Eli Apple is a professional shit talker. He's a below average cornerback.
Yeah, he's not good.
So that pretty much sums him up. But
you would think he would be good.
the Browns don't have a need at corner. It just, really would have missed. Like, I am very comfortable with A.J. Green stepping in and having to play if it needed to be, if we got to that point. So, Ward, Newsome, Emerson, Green, those 4 corners can get the job done, right? So I got no issue with that. Scarehouse Tim Zombie. If the Browns go to the Super Bowl, I'm buying Matt beer and fireball shots. Yeah. And like endless too, please.
Endless.
We're going to have a great time, Scarehouse Tim Zombie. The Browns report, I don't know what it would look like, but there would be watch parties, there would be live shows all week. The build-up and celebration would be very real. So you'd be a part of it. All the OGs would. Paul Brooks with a $2 super chat. I meant with the trade for the Eagles.
Talking about what did we get for Greedy Williams?
Oh,
What
he
did
was
we
not
get
traded to the Eagles. He signed in free agency, so we didn't get anything for him. But I do love this super chat. Sweet and right to the point. F-Pit. Everyone spam F-Pit in the chat right now. Let's go. Let's get an F-Pit in the chat.
I hate the squealers.
Yep. We got an extra 5th, like AFX points out, for Troy Hill going to the Rams. The Browns have an extra 3rd, 4th, and 5th. One is a comp pick because of Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah getting hired by the Vikings. The other is actually a trade with the Vikings during last year's draft. And the other one, the 5th round pick, is from Troy Hill draft day trade to LA. So that's how they have a pair of 3s, 4s, and 5s. F-Pit's coming in. Love to see it. Let's get them going here. Max, are the Browns not able to move Greg Newsome in some sort of a trade for a good defensive end? I just don't think actually. I think this is probably a moment where the Browns fan base and what's actually happening in Berea are on very different pages, right? We looked at Greg Newsome as a surplus at corner and thought, why not flip him for a position of need? And that's a fair thought to have. I think Andrew Berry goes, what are you, fucking nuts? We're talking about the NFL. They pass the ball more than ever. We are not trading away good corners just for the sake of doing so.
Yeah.
We would like to have good depth at the cornerback position. I do not want to lose in January because Patrick Mahomes finds a receiver deep and we were on our 3rd string corner and we desperately missed Greg Newsome. So no, I think that, and I'm guilty of it, I just think this is an example of like, us thinking what the Browns are going to do, and the Browns looking at us laughing like, no, we're not trading away a good player. That's kind of my prediction on Greg Newsome and all the trade talk. Because ultimately, if the Browns did not have an issue with moving on from Greg Newsome, he would probably be in Denver, and Jerry Jeudy would be in Cleveland if that's what it cost. Hertz Productions. Should we have waited to see if in the draft we could trade up and get Jackson Smith and Jigba? Or should we have saved our draft pick to try get him? If the Browns took their original 42nd overall pick in a third, they could have moved up to like pick 25 or down. Is Jackson Smith and Jigba going to be there? Right? I mean, if he starts to slip, maybe they get a bit aggressive there. But what if he does get picked at like 14 by the Patriots? And Andrew Berry goes, whoa, we were really banking on him not getting picked that early?
Yeah.
What's our backup plan? And is our backup plan better than Elijah Moore? And if the answer is no, then you probably don't bank on someone falling. And you probably stick to a safer route like Elijah Moore that doesn't have a low floor, in my opinion. So we're at $101 in Super Chats. There we go. If we get to 125, we'll do a Dirty Dog Bowl. $25 away. I'll set the timer, though, for like 3 minutes or so because I know Patrick Seaman and producer Tex McCullough got some other stuff to work on. So we'll set the timer.
Don't
Oh, you
set
got
the
it?
timer. Don't set the timer.
Don't set the timer? Do you think Tank Dell will be there in the third? Listen, every year we think this guy goes super high in the draft or this guy goes super low. Do I think he'll be in the third? I think he has a good chance of being in the third. So I'm giving you a cowardly answer. Yeah, I think Tank Dell, Nathaniel Dell has a good chance of being available in the third round, but this is the draft we're talking about.
Boom.
Oh, look at producer Patrick Seatman. Shot clock's on. $3, 3 minutes on the shot clock, trying to get us to 125 to keep the show going. So help us out if you'd like to. Lots of F pits coming in.
Fits perfectly.
Appreciate everyone who's tuning in, by the way. F Baltimore as well. While we kind of let the clock, rattle down a little bit, let's just bathe in the Browns offense for a moment. Ready, Seeps? Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper. How many other three-headed monsters in the AFC are better than that?
Ooh, okay.
Because I think the Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, but Joe Mixon.
Who might not even be there.
Right. I think you'd probably rather have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Yeah, definitely. But
Yeah.
you'd also much
But Nick
rather
Chubb
have
definitely-
Nick Chubb, yeah.
I mean, the Ravens, they have no wide receiver, no
They
running
don't even
back.
know if they have a quarterback.
Right. Steelers, no.
No.
AFC West, Mahomes kind of does everything by himself. It would be Kelsey, too.
Yeah.
Um,
Bills, similar to the Bengals.
Chargers, not far.
Eckler's not going to be there.
Yep.
Who knows about them?
Jets, I don't know who the quarterback is. How about the Dolphins, though? Would you rather have Watson, Cooper, and Chubb, or Tua, Tyreek, and Jeff Wilson?
I guess I'd rather have the Browns. Yeah,
Exactly. So
The Bills be the only, but you don't know who their running back is.
you don't. But Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, which, by the way, did we maybe overinflate Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs a little bit?
Yeah.
For losing a divisional game, we put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Just 'cause it was a great
We
football.
honestly crowned him before they even got to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
So, interesting thought there. Chris with a $5 super chat. Let's go, Chris. Someone else help him out. Get the assist going in the chat right now. Chris, we'll throw up that super chat on screen in just a quick second here. There's the super chat menu, by the way. Chris Yarden, what's going on, my guy? Jason Taylor is my deep sleeper. Combo of size, weight, combine, and tape make him way undervalued and looks like the real deal. Is this the younger? Is it the son of the other Jason Taylor?
Let me check.
Jonathan with a $20 super chat keeps the show going. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Was yesterday at 600 the record? We got to 650. No, the record is a little over 1,000. We got that during a watch party during the season. For during the week show,
That was a special night.
when you and I got to 850.
That was an unreal day.
That was that's the record for like a non-watch party stream. So 650 is probably like bronze or 4th place. So it's up there. It's up there. I know some dog bowls though. Jonathan Mann, $20 super chat. Chris Yarden, $5 super chat. That's a fat dog bowl right there.
Appreciate it,
PHAT, fat. Cheers to you guys.
Appreciate it, fellas. Jonathan Mann coming in with the bomb. So we got March Madness tipping off.
We got Jonathan Mann's picture.
Oh, we do.
Let's throw Jonathan Mann's picture up on screen for a second. Yeah, really quickly. March Madness. K-State, Michigan State. Seeps, who you got?
I got Kansas State.
Yeah.
I
This
think
is
the point
likely.
guard's
I mean,
gonna
I don't want to
control the
jinx
game.
it, but I'm watching this with the lens of winner has a good chance of playing my Tennessee Volunteers. Hopefully we get past FAU, but we know how March can be.
Yep.
So I'm not going to try and, just blindly assume. Oh, an alley-oop to start it.
Kansas State has 4 kids who grew up near New York playing in Madison Square Garden.
There goes
they
the alley.
dream about this.
I mean, in one way, can I be corny?
Go for it.
I'm sure the broadcast has already said it, but the boys from Manhattan are playing in the biggest lights in Manhattan, right? They
That's
are
gotta be a lie.
definitely getting witty with that one right there.
Oh, definitely.
I know that those Diet
good
Coke
play.
drinking broadcasters are eating up the Manhattan jokes.
That was good.
All right, this is the Super Chat menu. We'll keep the show going because we got to 125. That's what I'm talking about. We got some other comments in the chat right now. Let's see what other people are saying. Use hashtag Browns in the chat if you've got a question or a take you want to see on screen. Why not? I always wonder why people don't do that more often, right? Preston, that's what I'm talking about. Jonathan says K-State, by the way. Mega, what's the biggest super chat you've ever gotten? $200, I believe. $200, I'm going to say.
Yeah, because that was the one we were giving away the
The poster. That gets like $250 then.
I think it was 250.
Yeah, remember the poster, guys? It's been a
Yeah,
while.
I missed that thing.
Kinda, I do too.
Gotta bring it back. Yeah, 300 poster night, Tim Green. I think it was.
Yep. Preston, have you always been a Browns fan? We've got this question before. It's kind of an interesting story because I grew up not primarily, but from the ages of 5 to 10 in Japan. That's my dad's company, had him go work. So I really wasn't a football fan until I moved back. And then I was just kind of like trying to just catch up on, football. So I wasn't an NFL guy by any means, but I definitely loved the Browns. And worked out pretty nicely, I'll say the least, that when I got to Chat Sports, I got assigned to the Browns. So wasn't like a Browns fan from diapers because I just didn't watch football until I was about 10 years old. But then once I moved back, yeah. So I think that kind of makes me always a Browns fan, sort of.
Don't look at the chat right now. Don't look at. I just said don't look at the chat.
It's not happening.
No, I'm serious. Don't look at the chat. Who are the top 5 schools with the most NCAA tournament wins without a title?
You serious?
I'm serious.
Okay. Number 1 is Purdue.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Oklahoma's up there. I think Oklahoma's up there for sure because they've actually been good for a while. Gonzaga has never won, and they've won a lot of tournament games.
Uh-huh.
I'm going back to old Big Ten. Illinois, probably. And I'm going to guess, I don't know. What about Notre Dame?
Okay. Oklahoma 1, Illinois 2, Notre Dame 3, Texas 4, Purdue 5.
Okay.
Kansas State and then Temple are 6 and 7.
Where'd you see this list?
It was on Google.
So it's funny. You weren't in the room. I asked this exact same question to the office about 2 hours ago.
Do you know who asked it in the chat?
No.
Fletcher.
Fletcher. Oh, there it is. There it is.
That's
Okay.
why I told you not to look
so
in the chat.
I asked, I was being aloof about it. I do the top 5 in order.
Oh, okay.
The list I saw was different than that list.
Okay, yeah, that was.
And I was
that
texting my group chat about that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's Fletcher right there.
Shout out to Fletch.
Shaylin, dang it, I did the one Matthew asked at trivia. Matthew, what question did you ask at trivia on Tuesday? Top 5 teams with most NCAA championships.
Okay. Well, Shay kind of put them in there. I mean, UCLA is up there.
UCLA's number 1 with 11.
Yeah, Duke, I'd assume's up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
UNC's up there? Yep.
Indiana, I would
Yep.
hope.
I'm actually forgetting the fifth one right now.
Is it Houston?
No.
No. 'Cause they were a wagon in the 80s with Hakeem and everybody. Or not
It's
Hakeem.
not the last one you said, Shay. That was the incorrect one everyone put down.
It's not Kansas.
Oh, I know it. Duh. You're going to feel really stupid.
What region of the country?
If I say that, it's going to give it away immediately.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's east of the Mississippi. You'll feel really dumb. Kentucky.
Fuck.
There, yeah, I told you. Everyone put Kansas, though. Kansas has 4. Indiana and UNC both have 5. Yep.
That's a good one.
Do you think the Browns will trade up in the draft? No, I think if anything, let's look up the draft picks really quickly, Seeps, of what the Browns have in 2023 and then 2024. Because if you look at what they have in 2023, they have 8 picks. Do they have even 7 roster spots open? It's not always a guarantee that the 7th round pick makes it, but usually 1 through 6 is pretty close to guarantee making the roster their rookie year. So if they feel like they don't have 6 roster spots open and they got something closer to 5, wouldn't be shocked if they took their 3rd round picks, maybe move back and try to get more picks for 2024. Because now we'll look at the 2024 draft picks. They have a 2nd and a 3rd, and that's it for day 2 and early day 3. That might not be sitting well with Andrew Berry. So maybe he tries to move back in round 3 a little bit, get an extra 3rd, get a 4th, right? And add more picks for next year when the roster may not be so set and they might be making some cuts to free up cap space and they may be more dependent on the draft to fill out their roster. So that's why I don't think the Browns are going to move up in the draft. But who knows? If someone starts slipping and Andrew Berry's like, that's the real last piece of this roster, they might just go ahead and do that move, right? They're like, we love this linebacker. We thought he'd go around 40. It's 55. Let's bundle our 2/3 and move up 20 spots and get this linebacker and feel like we're done now with the draft. We've done everything we set out to do. Super Chat menu, what's going on? Any amount, you get a shout out. $2, give me your take. $5, I drink out of the dog bowl. $20 fireball shots. I'm just doing big extra pours of dog bowls today because I'm trying to not do what I did yesterday. $50, it's a Browns player comp. Your choice or dealer's choice. And anytime you super chat in the future, we'll throw that on screen for everyone to see. So hey, if you like the free content, super chats go a long way. Let's reset the clock. Reset the shot clock at 3 minutes. And if we can get to 150, we'll keep the show going.
Let's do it.
Yep, we're $22 away. $22 away. We'll keep the show going.
22.
Give me your final 4. No, I hate final 4. I actually hate when people say give me your final 4 or something because then you got to remember who's in what region.
Oh, that's easy, Petey. I got it.
It's like I can't memorize all the regions. You know what I mean?
I'll give you my final 4 anyways.
Can you give me? How about this? Give me a dark horse final 4.
Creighton.
That's a good dark
Creighton,
horse.
because they got Bama in the top left. That'll be the Elite 8 game. They got Princeton.
I think people forget. I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to PMT.
Did you listen to one with the Big East guy?
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, well, that was a recent one. Very good.
But I kind of forgot. There was a Final Four that had 8-seed Butler versus 11-seed VCU.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's very chalky, but sometimes you get
Well,
Loyola, Chicago.
I think the one championship was like 8-seed Michigan State versus 9-seed Kentucky.
Fletcher, that's not very nice. Hey, Shay, did you guys get that walk-in?
What am I?
Oh, the walk we did last night. Yeah, we did a nice walk. We went to a great local pizza joint in Dallas, Grimaldi's, my favorite pizza spot. It's a New York chain, but there's no good pizza in Dallas. So Grimaldi's was it. Mega Browns, if you had to pick a second favorite NFL team, what would it be? I feel like this has just become a Matthew Peterson Wikipedia.
I know.
Definitely the Bears, right?
I don't know.
Petey's a closet Vikes guy, so.
A closet Vikes guy, as Seeps would say. Preston, if someone donates $20, I'll cry. Yeah, I'd make Preston cry. That would be something. Minute 22 on the clock. Let's go.
New channels, just slap me if y'all need anything.
All right. That's the Super Chat menu on screen. You guys know Patrick and I love hanging out with you guys, but unfortunately, that's just sort of the fabric of Chat Sports of taking up studio space. Hopefully, we get big enough where like every channel got their own studio, and then we wouldn't have to do that. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Brown
Studio, Vikes, Cowboys, whatever it is.
Ty Man the Buckeye, drop $100 super. I love it. Love it, Ty
Somebody
Man.
drops 100, I'll do a boot.
Patrick will do 3 beers in a boot if we get
3
$100
beers in a
in
boot.
43 seconds. Okay, so we'll kind of end the show with just some final thoughts on the Browns from Elijah Moore trade and the route they're going right now, going into the draft. Ready?
There you go.
Short and simple. Really fucking good. Great roster.
Yep.
Kevin Stefanski. We'll end with this debate here. Is there any coach who has more pressure to deliver double-digit wins than Kevin Stefanski?
Ooh, probably not.
Dude. For what
He
Andrew
does
Berry
have a lot of
has
pressure.
spent in the draft, spent in free agency and trades, to give him all the pieces he needs, like it is 10 wins or you're fired, I think.
Yeah.
He's fired at 9-8. Would you agree?
I think okay, what if the offense is humming and the defense sucks? But then it's like, are you a head coach? Are you an offensive coordinator? Like,
Dude, he's fired if they don't
think
get
it's
10
like
wins.
10 wins, like
Yeah.
that's it? And he's
What
gone?
I don't know is if Andrew Berry is fired too. Or if they're like, dude, the Browns roster is awesome.
Dude, but
Just not
Berry-
coached well.
Barry's done a great job.
I know.
Like-
But at some point, it's like you're spending all the owner's money. The owner wants to get mad at someone. Mega with a 99-cent super chat. Appreciate. That's all I got, dude. Don't
are the
feel out of
frickin'
bounds.
man,
You're the
Mega.
man, dude. For 99 cents, we're doing a dog bowl for Mega.
And I'll put a minute back on the shot.
That's what I love. Mega's the guy. There we go.
Shout out to Mega. Oh! Max! Saying is Lamar Action Jackson.
Okay, this is a good note to end on. Let's get another super chat. Is Lamar staying in Baltimore? You know what's crazy? Ravens fans would have actually said that you were crazy, you were dumb, and you were an idiot if you thought Lamar was not going to be on the Ravens in 2023, like 8 months ago.
Oh my God, yeah.
Now it feels like chances are he won't be on the Ravens.
He is not going to be a Raven.
Here's the thing, though. If no one ever makes him a offer, he's going to play on the franchise tag. Like, he said that he wouldn't just sit out. So, if nothing happens, he will play for the Ravens. But what will be interesting is, at the end of next year, you could franchise tag him again. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But you can only do it twice. Then you got to just pay the piper or let him go. And who knows? Maybe if he's hurt again next year, that will make the Ravens' decision a lot easier.
Yeah.
But this will be an interesting issue. Do you think Lamar is going to be on the Ravens?
I do not.
Is he going to be a Viking?
Probably not. But,
Yeah.
I don't know who. Like, I don't know any Lamar destinations. Like, I think
It is very, very weird how teams made announcements that they would not be pursuing Lamar.
it's collusion.
It's very bizarre. Like, I just didn't get it. I mean, not to really pick on one guy, but Benjamin Albright, I think he's a fantastic Twitter follow and a great NFL reporter. He was saying all these teams are interested in Lamar, and then it was weird. He went from the Falcons are the leaders in the clubhouse to get him to, well, of course the Falcons announced that they're not going to pursue Lamar. They don't want to upset their quarterback if they don't get him and ruin the locker room. I think Sam Howell or Desmond Ridder would understand why you pursued Lamar Jackson.
At least I hope he would.
Yes.
The unanimous MVP.
Some more super chats. Let's go. Keep this show going a little longer. Jets have to. Okay. God, I think Aaron Rodgers is time. Like, if he goes to the Jets, I don't think he's going to be that MVP quarterback or anything like it. Like, I don't think the Jets are going to thrive with Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to be one of those examples of, like, getting a bunch of stars together, but it's not going to mesh and it's not going to work, and the Jets are just going to be the Jets. But is Robert Saleh fired?
If they do get Rodgers and it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
yes, I think you would be.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, think about it, dude. Jets have a
He'd
top
probably
10.
get 2 years with Rodgers.
Yeah, I think the Jets are similar to the Browns in terms of like roster-wise.
Defense is up and coming.
Yes,
They just don't have that Miles. They don't have an NFL Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Sauce Gardner, I guess.
Quentin Williams, very good,
Very
but
good.
But they don't have like.
Right.
I mean, Myles Garrett is one of one.
Yep. Chris Yarden, what's up? Yes or no, we end up with a dome in Cleveland.
Are there rumors?
There are rumors. So the Browns' lease at First Energy Stadium ends in 2027, which 2027, it's kind of in that same category of like home and away, Ohio State and Oklahoma. Well, that will never get here.
Yeah.
And then like, oh shit, 10 years goes by. 2027's gonna come, and I think Jimmy and Dee Haslam are looking into building a dome stadium to host concerts and Final Fours, right? Shay, you're watching. I hope you still are. Where is Taylor Swift going on her stadium tour? Not Cleveland, Ohio.
No.
So,
Like, good example, Vikings, pretty small market. They got that sweet new stadium, got the Super Bowl, got the Final Four.
Yep.
Like, owners want that.
so I think like, and also like, here's the thing. I was a big fan of AFC North football, cold weather, beat the crap out of the Southern teams in December.
Yep.
My opinion on that completely changed when the Saints came into town in December and played in an icebox and beat the crap out of the Browns at their own game.
I remember that.
When that happens, when a team that plays in a dome in the South comes to Cleveland in December and beats you at your own game, I have no ground to stand on to say AFC North football anymore. And if you want, like, you invested $230 million in Deshaun Watson, he's going to play better in a dome.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. So, I just think at this point, it's very difficult to defend the non-dome argument other than, but AFC North football, pansies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Would they? They would be the only dome team.
Yeah. Only dome team in the division. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, she's going to Ohio? Wait,
Where
no.
is she performing in
Is she
Ohio?
performing at the Cavs arena? I don't think so.
She's not stepping foot in Cleveland.
I think she's only doing NFL stadiums. Okay.
She's definitely not going to the Bengals stadium.
Yeah. What stadium is she going to? Someone. Oh, okay.
Is
I think she's going in the summer to First Energy.
Oh no, she's going to Paul Brown.
At Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So
That's what Shay just said.
Oh, she's not going to Cleveland then.
No, yeah, she's going to Cincinnati.
So yes, like the concert thing works for like months outside of. This goes without saying, April to August. There's no concerts there, right? Exactly. That's what I mean. Cincinnati.
Sin City. The Sin City.
That's how Shay spells it. All right. Dennis, what's going on? Domes are garbage. I'm not trying to ignore your comments. Domes are garbage. This is real football and inclement weather, not flag football. I was on your team, Dennis, until the Saints beat the crap out of the Browns last year, running the ball in the cold weather. When that happened, it's like, take my man card. We're the AFC North team. We're the team in Cleveland. You're the team in the South. And you were better prepared for the weather. That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
That's tough. That's tough to defend. That's literally the moment I switched sides. Go find older videos. We've talked about this before. I said no dome. I can't say it anymore. I have no argument. It's a better product. Like, do I think the entire NFL should be in dome stadiums? No, I'm not Kurt Warner.
Is that what he says?
Kurt Warner wants every team in a dome so that the game is the same year round.
Where's the integrity?
But it's like, if your argument for a dome, if your argument for not a dome stadium is home field advantage, that's where you're wrong. That's what I'm saying, right? If it's no, let's play in the weather, let's play in the elements. That way, in December, teams will struggle coming to Cleveland. When was that the case? Someone find me where the Browns had a great record in November and December. Would love to see it, because I have not witnessed it yet in my life. Max, what's going on? $5 super chat. Keep the show going a little longer. Petey, you would be the best game show host or Tupperware salesman. You know how to pull the money strings. Talent. It's funny you say game show host just because I do host trivia once a week here in Dallas. We go to a bar not far. And when I started hosting it, if we're getting to the Matthew Peterson Wikipedia page, I wouldn't pressure coworkers to come. I was like, hey, if you guys want to come, it's Tuesday, 7 o'clock, come on by. Now it's just like a religion, and it is competitive. So I do like hosting trivia. Game show, is there any better job than being Steve Harvey? Right? You get to look at the answers and just walk around and be charismatic.
Yes.
That is that is the dream.
Listen, Petey's only going to be on the Browns report for maybe a year or two more, and then he's gone. He is going to host a trivia game.
Yeah. That's what I love to see. My trivia king. Okay. If we don't get it, we're $7 away from. How about this? If we can get to 150, let's call it a day. We'll let Seeps go watch March Madness because I know this is his thing. I love March Madness, but admittedly, I start watching college basketball after the NFL. That's sort of where my timeline is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can't do, for example, Seep sometimes, and the other guy here, Rolly, with yesterday, he was with us. They're watching November college basketball over Monday Night Football. I can never get to that point.
Feast week is one of the feast weeks.
Rolly's more like that than you are during the season.
I'm just a Big East guy. I just love Big East basketball.
I see AFX Apocalypse. Don't worry. Imagine being a Falcons fan. Yeah, talk to Rolly about that.
Couldn't be me.
Could not be me. Okay, we're $7 away from 150. If we can get there, that's awesome. If not, no sweat, no harm, no foul. Shay, are you going to Ice House? Because I think we're going to go to Nodding Donkey to watch the games. I also never responded to Ross. He texted me 5 hours ago. So my bad. Yeah. So the Browns get Jerick McKinnon from the Chiefs. That would be a fun Kareem Hunt replacement. Jerick McKinnon, he had a weird career, right? You know him from the Vikings.
I love Jerick McKinnon.
Big overpay by the Niners. Couldn't stay healthy.
Incredible overpay.
And then great resurgence with the Chiefs.
I saw something with Jerick, though. He's in the top point, 1% of athletes with the way his body is formed and everything. He's one of the twitchiest athletes in NFL history. Jerick, he's a freak.
Going to Terry Black's with Julia? I'm jealous. Okay.
They have no invite here. That's incredible.
Julia's got a friend in town, a little girls outing.
Oh, all right, fine. I guess
okay.
we can't be invited to girls' night.
Well, Tennessee plays at 8 o'clock, so you know that's where I'll be.
Ooh, I forgot about that, Petey.
Yep. All right. No super chats coming in. No problem. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, making us a part of your day. You know I love hanging out with you guys, talking shop, talking football, all that good stuff. So, Seeps, any last words? Any big predictions? Give me a bold take for March Madness.
Texas will get zipped up tomorrow.
Bingo. Love it. Thank you, guys. We will see everyone later. We got more videos coming out throughout the week. So, until then, go Browns.